Welcome to Charlie Survival. In this video, I'm going to show you what expiry dates really mean, how food actually breaks down, and a simple system you can use to decide what to eat and what to bin in any crisis. By the end, you'll understand the difference between best before and use by in the real world, which foods can last years or even decades if stored well, and which ones can kill you long before the date on the packet. And at the end, I'll give you a 3-step check you can run on any old food so you're not guessing with your life. Modern life has made us weirdly soft about food. Yogurt smells a bit funny, bin it. Bread looks slightly sad, bin it. Crisps 2 days past the date? Nope, that's gross. Meanwhile, perfectly safe food is thrown away every single day, not because it's poisonous, but because it's not perfect anymore. In normal times, that's just wasteful and expensive. In a crisis, that mindset can be deadly. Because on one side, you've got the modern yuck factor. If it isn't fresh and Instagram ready, we treat it like toxic waste. On the other side, there's a harsh reality of collapse. Food poisoning isn't just a rough 24 hours on the toilet. It can mean dehydration, infection, and no hospital to bail you out. So, as preppers and survivalists, we have to walk a tightrope. Stop being scared of harmless, out-of-date food without becoming reckless and eating things that can really kill you. To do that, we need to decode those magic little dates on the packets. What expiry dates actually mean. Let's break down the main ones you'll see in the UK. Best before. This is about quality, not safety. After the best before date, food might lose crunch, flavour or vitamins. But a lot of it, especially tins and dried goods, can still be safe to eat long after if stored properly. Use by. This is about safety. You'll see this on food that spoils quickly. Meat, fish, chilled ready meals, soft cheeses, fresh juices. Eating those after the date gets risky fast, especially if they're warmed up. You might also see display until or sell by. These are for supermarket staff, not for you. They help them rotate stock. They're not death dates, and behind all of this, remember, there is a huge financial incentive for the food industry to keep product flowing. If you bin things early, you buy more. So, as survivalists, we can't be slaves to the label. We have to ask, what is this food? How was it processed? How has it been stored? That tells you far more than a bit of ink on the metal. The 7 real shelf life factors. What really controls how long food lasts comes down to a handful of things. Once you understand these, you can look at any product and roughly judge whether it can last years or if it's always going to be short-lived. Here are the big 7 rapid fire. Airtight sealing. If air, moisture and microbes can't get in, food lasts longer. Tins, jars, mylar bags, retort pouches. Sterilization. Has it been heat treated? Canned food and many pouches are cooked in the container to kill bacteria and spores. Moisture content. Dry equals long life. Wet and sloppy equals short life. Salt and sugar. Natural preservatives, jam, salted meats, very salty or sugary foods last longer. Acidic foods like pickles, vinegar products, tomatoes are naturally more hostile to many microbes. Packaging strength. Thin plastic and cardboard gets chewed, punctured and soaked. Strong tins, jars, pouches and buckets protect your stash. If you want to become more resilient in the UK, head over to the Charlie Survival Amazon kit list. You can find everything you need from home survival to bug out gear. Click the link in the description after this video. Temperature and stability. Hot lofts and freezing or boiling sheds shorten shelf life and damage packaging. If most of those 7 are in your favour, that food will usually outlive its label by a long way. The long life of canned food. There are famous cases where canned foods were recovered decades after they were packaged and tested in labs. The results? Not tasty, but safe, no dangerous microorganisms. That doesn't mean you go around eating museum exhibits. What it does prove is this. Under good conditions, properly canned food can last far beyond the 2 to 5 years you usually see printed on the tin. Those dates are conservative. Manufacturers haven't sat there testing the same tin for 50 years. They give you a time frame they can legally guarantee for quality. Intact tins, stored well, are one of the most reliable long-term foods you can own. The date is a guidance for peak quality, not the exact moment it transforms into poison. The real danger isn't age on its own, it's damage and contamination. When a tin is safe and when it's deadly. Let's talk about when to trust a can and when to walk away. Canned food is processed, sealed, and then basically left alone. If that process went well and the tin stays undamaged, nothing nasty can get in. The worst case scenario is botulism. That's a toxin produced by bacteria in low oxygen, low acid environments, like badly canned meat or veg. You can see it, you can smell it, you can taste it. But it can paralyze and kill in tiny amounts. So there are hard no-go signs with tins. If you see any of these, I don't care if the date is next week, it's gone. Bulging ends, lid or base puffed out, leaks, heavy rust or crusty ooze around seams, deep dents right on the seams, weird hissing, squirting or foaming when you open it, foul, rotten or chemical smells, visible mold, bizarre colours or textures that clearly shouldn't be there. In a collapse, some people will still gamble. Personally, I'd rather go hungry than paralysed with no hospital. But if a can is flat, no bulging, dry and not leaky, only lightly dented and not on the seam, stored in a cool, dry place, then even if it's years past its best before, the odds are much higher that it's still safe. It might taste a bit boring, but in a crisis, calories beat cuisine. Pouches, MREs and freeze-dried meals. In the UK, more of us are buying camping meals, boil in the bag dinners and just add water freeze-dried packs. Most of these use retort or Mylar style packaging, multiple layers, heat treated and sealed. If that pouch is still intact, not swollen like a balloon, not leaking, it behaves very similar to a can. The 3 or 5 year printed shelf life is mostly about guaranteed taste and nutrition, not the exact day it turns toxic. Freeze-dried foods are often better for long-term storage. They've had almost all the water removed. Put them in good packaging, keep them cool and dark, and you can easily be looking at 20 to 25 years of potential shelf life. The main killer here is heat. If you store them over a boiler, in a greenhouse or in the back of a hot van, you'll massively shorten their real lifespan. So again, cool, dark, dry, boring. It's not glamorous, but it keeps you fed. Dry goods, rice, pasta, oats and co. Some of the best long-term foods aren't fancy at all. They're cheap basics from Tesco, Aldi, Lidl, Amazon, you name it. White rice, pasta, oats, flour, especially white, sugar, salt, dried beans and lentils. These are all low moisture foods. If you protect them from damp, heat and pests, they can last many years beyond their printed dates. White versus brown rice. White rice can last decades in ideal conditions. Brown rice has more oils and goes rancid much faster. For long-term survival, go heavy on white. Sugar and salt. Keep them dry and they basically don't go off. They might clump, but that's it. Flour and oats. They can go stale or rancid over time and do attract insects, but airtight containers, oxygen absorbers and cool storage add years. Beans and lentils. Older beans just take longer to soften. If they're dry, clean and bug-free, they're still a powerful source of calories and protein. The weak link is usually the original packaging. Thin bags tear and get chewed, so for serious storage, repackage into jars, tubs and Mylar bags or even buckets and keep them off cold, damp floors. The real problem foods. Proper perishables. Now for the stuff you really don't want to push too far. Fresh meat and fish, chilled ready meals, soft cheeses, fresh milk and cream, cooked leftovers in a warm fridge. These are wet, often near neutral pH, and absolute playgrounds for Salmonella, E. coli, Listeria and friends. Here, use-by dates matter more. Once the power's off and the fridge is warming up, the clock is ticking fast. Reheating can kill many bacteria, but not the toxin they leave behind, so just heat it really hot is not a magic wand. In a serious grid down scenario, these become short-term food, nice while they last, but the spine of your plan should be shelf-stable stuff, tins, pouches and dried goods. The 3-step check for sketchy food. You're staring at a dusty tin or package thinking, do I risk this? Here's a simple 3-step framework. It's not a guarantee. I can't see or taste your food, but it's far better than random guessing. Step 1. Check the packaging, not the date. Ask yourself, is the can flat, not bulging, not leaking, not deeply dented on the seam? Is the pouch flat, sealed, not ballooned or sticky? Is the jar lid still properly down with no rusted through areas? Are dry goods sealed with no insects, webbing or damp patches? If it fails badly here, bulging, leaking, infested, don't open it, it's not worth it. Step 2, open it and use your senses. When you open it, does gas rush out aggressively? Does it foam weirdly? Does it smell violently strong like rot, solvent, or something clearly off? Is there obvious mold, slime, or disturbing colours? If your instincts go absolutely not, listen to them. Step 3. Weigh the type of food against your situation. Ask, is this a high-risk food? Low acid meat, fish, creamy stuff, home canned mystery jars? Or lower risk, tomato-based, vinegary, very salty or sugary, or bone-dry grains? Then zoom out. Are you generally down to your last few calories, or do you still have safer options? If you've still got options, don't gamble. If it's truly life or death, some people might choose to take more risk, but personally I'd still never touch a bulging meat tin or anything that seemed off from the moment I saw it. Botulism is not a see how it goes illness. The 3-word rule. After all of this, I use one simple mental filter: risk versus reward. In normal life, the reward of eating dodgy food is tiny. The risk after a few days wiped out, or worse, just isn't worth it. Bin it and crack on. In a collapse, the scales shift. A slightly out-of-date, intact tin of beans with no warning signs might be worth the risk, because the reward, calories and protein, is huge compared to the small risk. But when the risk spikes, bulging, leaking, rotten smells, no amount of calories is worth potentially fatal poisoning with no NHS backup. Risk versus reward. That's the lens that stops you being paranoid and stops you being reckless. If this helped, smash the like button and subscribe for more survival content, because remember, food is just one part of survival in the UK. And head over to the Charlie Survival Amazon kit list to become more resilient. You can find kits I've tried and tested in real UK scenarios. If you want to know what equipment UK preppers keep secret, click this video on screen now to learn all about it. I'll see you over there.